Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to explore window functions in SQLite. First, I want us to look at aggregate functions, which is what we have on the left-hand side of this diagram. Aggregate functions basically help us to summarize multiple rows into a single value. Some examples of aggregate functions include sum, average, mean, maximum, median, etc. Window functions, on the other hand, which is shown on the right-hand side of this figure, performs a calculation across a set of table rows that are somehow related to the current row. This is comparable to the type of calculation that can be done with an aggregate function. But unlike regular aggregate function, use of a window function does not cause rows to become grouped into a single output row. The rows retain their separate identities. This video will be split into two. First, I want to show some basic window functions, which is ranking. Second, we would use the window functions to query a database and solve some questions. We're using the NotWin database for this activity. I have included a link in the description to download the database and ER diagram, so you can explore the relationship between the tables. I already have my DBeaver set up with the NotWin database, and I have the questions we'll be looking at in this video loaded onto DBeaver. The NotWin database basically has 8 tables in them, and when you download the ER diagram, you can explore the relationship between those tables. Our first practice question is to try and use the ranking function on the unit price attribute in the other details table. But before we do that, I would like to show you some of the columns in the other details table. So these are the 5 columns that are in this table: order ID, product ID, unit price, quantity, and discount. And our task here is to rank the unit price in the order table. So we use the rank function. And once we bring the over, that allows us to create a window function. So we want it to be descending, and we save that as rank. Okay, so we now have our result set here. So you can see that SQL has ranked all of the unit price for us. Obviously, you can see that the first 16 rows are all tied. Now, because it is tied, the rank function is just going to put 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 in the first 16 rows. And instead of continuing with 2, it just goes to 17. So it skips labeling it as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Because it has counted all of this, although they are ties, but it has counted all of it. And it just starts from 17, right? And you can see it skips 18 to 24, and it starts from 25. That's what the rank function does. Now, if we include one more ranking function, which is the dense rank, you would see how that function behaves when compared with rank. I'm just going to copy this, paste it here, take this out. All right, so the dense rank, just like the rank function, but it does not skip its ranking regardless of ties. So here we can see we still have those ties, but instead of skipping to 17, it goes to 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Now, the next one we'll look at is row number. And that one just gives us unique values for each of our rows. I forgot to take out the comma. All right, so now for the row number, you can see the unique value. So it's listing it from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't care if there are ties or whatsoever. It gives every row a unique value. All right, so now that we have done that, let's actually practice some problems. So our first question says, list each product and show its rank based on price, most expensive first. So here we're basically looking at the product table, and the question wants us to rank the products based on price, most expensive first. So if we go to the product table and we view the data, all right, so we have all the product name and we have the unit price, right? So let's see how to query the database. So we use the rank and then over, which opens our window function. We're ordering by unit price. You could also make it ascending as well, depending on your question. All right, so here is our price rank. So remember, we're to do most expensive first. So the most expensive product is the Cote de Blair, and at $263.50. So that is ranked 1. Let's see what product. The least expensive product is the Getoist, and that is $2.50, and that is ranked 77. All right, so I think we have some ties. Between these two products, we have some ties there. All right, we also have some ties here between these two products. So when you're using the rank, whenever there's the tie, it's going to skip one number when it ranks. So that's how to query that database, and this is our result set. We can go on further to answer whatever questions that were being asked based on this result set. Now, our second question says, show each product and how much more expensive it is compared to the previous product in its category. So we're still in the product table. but now we have to show each product and how much expensive it is compared to the previous product in its category. So each of the products have a particular category that they are assigned to. And would have to use the category ID to help us distinguish the different categories. We want to do unit price. So the lag helps us to look at the previous product. That's what the lag helps us to do. You know, it's like going back one step. The lead goes forward by one, right? Or it helps us to look at the next product or the future item. That's the difference between the lead and the lag. So here we have the unit price. Then our window function. And here we're going to use partition because we want to look at each of those products in the category. And we would order by unit price as price difference. From the products table. All right, so here is our result set. And we can see the price difference for each of the products in their specific categories. So the first 12 products are in category 1, and then the next 12 are in category 2, right? So we use the category ID to put them into that group. That is what the partition, that's what this function here helps us to do, right? It creates that window and groups all of those different things into that window. And now in terms of the difference, we're doing the unit price subtracted from so the unit price of the current product subtracted from the previous product in that category. So basically, for this product, 7.75 subtracted from 4.5, that's how you get 3.25, right? We have a null here because there's no product before the guarana, right? But then after the guarana, you have the rumbrau, and the price is 7.75. So the difference, the price difference in two of them is $3.25. Now, if you go to the next product, which is the alley, it's 14 minus 7.75, which gives you 6.25. So that's how you find the difference between the current product and the previous product. And obviously you can also see that in this, you can see how expensive the products are in this group. So I think the Côte de Blair is the most expensive product in group 1, right? In the product category 1. And that is followed by the iPour coffee, which is $46, and so on and so forth. Now, the other thing I would also mention is you might be asking, oh, why is there a null here again, right? There's a null here because now you're in a new group. It's not going to subtract syrup from Côte de Blair because Côte de Blair belongs to group 1, which is category 1 products, right? And then syrup, aniseed syrup belongs to category 2 products. So there's nothing before it to do that difference. So it's always going to put null in the price difference. And then it would start from the second one. So the original Frankfurter is $13. So the difference between the Frankfurter and the aniseed syrup is around $3. All right, so let's go to our next question, which says, assign a unique row number to each order within each employee's orders. So now we're going to look at a completely different table, which is the order table. And the question here is asking us to assign a unique number to each order within each employee's orders. So this is the employee ID. We do have the order date. Okay, so we're going to be working with the order ID, the employee ID, as well as the order date, because each of the employee ID is attached to a specific order ID and an order date as well. So select, and then row number. So we're going to use the partition by, because we want to look at the employee. So employee ID, and we want to order by the order date as order sequence, and then from your orders table. So we're using the row number here because our question asks us for unique row number. So you know the rank and the dense rank will not give you unique row numbers, right? But the row number function would give us a unique row number. So let's run this. Okay, so basically what we see here is the order sequence, right? So for employee with ID 1, you could see all the orders that he has been assigned to, right? Or they have been assigned to. So 123, right? So you can see that order sequence here. It gives us unique row numbers. So it has counted it 1 all the way to 23. And then when we go into employee 2, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to count it all the way to, let's see, all the way to 96. So that means employee 2 has taken care of 96 orders. Employee 1 took care of 123 orders, right? If I got that number correctly. Yeah, 123 orders, right? So, and we could see the date there from 2014 all the way to 2016. So that's how you use the row number. Now the next question says, list each employee and rank them by the number of orders they processed, most to least. So basically what we're now doing is summarizing our result set from the previous question we just took care of, right? So what this question is asking us to do here is to summarize this question, right? Instead of having a very long table like this, we're going to summarize it into a very short table that shows us all the employee IDs. So I think we have what? So let's see. Okay, so we have 9 employee IDs, right? So that's from 1 to 9. So we'll summarize that into a very short table that shows that. So we'd use the count, so we can count all the other ID, and then we'll save that as total orders. I'm putting a group by, so it could help us group all the employee ID. So if we run this query, boom. So now we have a summarized table. You could see all the employee IDs from 1 to 9, right? And remember we said 1 had 123 orders and then 2 had 96 orders. So you can basically see that there. And then we've ranked it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this here is very easy for the rank function to do and give us unique numbers because there are no ties. The moment there is a tie, the rank function is going to skip one number. Now, our last question is to divide all products into 4 groups based on unit price. So here, we're going to use the ntile function in order to achieve or to solve this problem. So the ntile function helps us to create groups based on however we want. So if you wanted 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, it's going to create that for you. You just have to specify the number of groups. So in this question, we're asked to create 4 groups. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're looking at the product table. So this is where we specify our number of groups, then the window function. So if I run this, now you can see it here, right? We've created a particular price bucket for all of these products. So based on the price. So now what this entire function does, right? It's that it's going to create something like the smallest price, the medium price, and then the highest, right? So that's what it's going to try to create in the 4 groups. So if you look at group 1 for this price bucket, we have the lowest price, $2.50, all the way to $13. Then in group 2, we have $14 all the way to the max at 19.5. In group 3, we have $20 all the way to $33. Now in group 4, we have products from $34 all the way to $263. So you can see how it has split based on the unit price. It has split it into price buckets that have from the smallest prices for those products all the way to the products that are really expensive, right? So this is basically how we use the window function. If you have any concerns or questions, please leave a comment in the description box below. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.